Here's what you missed on the Sully Baseball Daily Podcast.
I don't care what happens today in baseball. I don't care if someone throws a no-hitter. I don't care if someone hits for the cycle. I don't care if someone hits a walk-off grand slam. I don't care if there's a 19-inning game today. I've seen the best thing that's happened in baseball today. My kids were playing in their Little League playoff. My kids' team is ranked 6th in a league of 7. It's one of those situations where all the teams get to play in the playoffs, kind of like hockey. And, my kids were playing the number 2 seed, second best team in the league today. And it was, I'll just say that my kids' team was not exactly favored. And as it turned out, my son, Matty, batted leadoff. And he got on by a walk and somehow made it over to third after, it's a Little League game. They get over to third. And suddenly there was a big little bit of a to-do and a little bit of a commotion. And it turns out that the coach on the other team found out that he was handed the wrong lineup. Because, they filled out a lineup and some other kids, some kids were late, some kids hadn't shown up, and, you fix the lineup to make sure to the kids who are there. And they say, hey, this is not the lineup that we have. Now, this is Little League. This is between ages 8 and 10. And instead of just saying, oh, man, sorry, we handed you the wrong thing, my bad, we're using this lineup because we're only 2 batters into the game. My bad, sorry about that, won't do that again, blah, blah, it's just something like that. Like, okay, that's what I would do. Okay, yeah, is this the lineup? I just want to make sure this is the lineup we're using. Let's all agree this is the lineup we're using. Okay, all right, then you move on. Instead, he was like, according to rule 7 point blah, 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 and there was a big, long delay. And, it's one of the points I actually yelled from the side. I was like, hey, let's play ball. Like, what's happening? And my son was called out because, according to rule, so my son was like, what the hell is going on here? He didn't say that, but his expression was that. And they went back. Now, at that moment, because my kids' team has been up and down and up and down, I was kind of like, you know what? They're playing a playoff game. I hope they play well. I hope that they, just play hard. I know they're not favored to win or everything like that. I don't know I think the Bellagio had them at, minus 20. But, just play well. And just, if this is the last game of the year, it was fun. We had a fun year. At that moment, I was like, get him. Just get him. This guy thinks he's freaking Tony La Russa over there. He's the Vic Morrow character in the Bad News Bears just sitting over there. Like, really? You're going to take it that seriously? Now, granted, if you coach really well in Little League, chances are the Rockies may hire you as a manager. Granted, he has more coaching experience than Dan Jennings did when he was hired by the Miami Marlins last month. But that is neither here nor is it there. I'm like, you're going to be pulling out the rule book and trying to be a stickler. Said, I hope they beat him. I hope they beat him well. Lo and behold, in the 3rd inning, my other son, Aiden, gets a base hit. A scorcher, 4,000 hopper that landed somewhere between the pitcher's mound and third base. He gets on base. There's a little bit of a to-do. Our team scores 5 runs. 5 runs, and 2 of them on boneheaded plays. And then you kind of see that the other team is like super aggressive. Like, like a ball squirts past the catcher. Okay, the catcher pitches up, the batter advances 1 base. But no, he barrels hard to get to third base. And part of me is like, hey, put the brakes on. But no, they're going all out. They're going out, and they came back, and they tied the game 5-5. Now, when it was up 5-0, I was cocky. I was like, oh, yeah, we're going to get them. We're going to get this team. We're going to win this. But then they tied the game. So we go into the top of the last inning, 5-5 tie. My son Matty gets a hit in a rally. There are a bunch of guys on base. There's a wild pitch, and one of our guys comes in to score, and the catcher starts taking his sweet time. Now, yeah, I'm taunting the kid who's 9 at this point. Actually, I'm not taunting him. I'm just talking about him here on my podcast. But because he took his sweet time going back to get the ball, the runner who advanced from second to third, the kid, he darted home too. You're going to play aggressive, our team's going to play aggressive. So now we're up 7-5. We're up 7-5, and we have a kid on the mound pitching for us. He's 9. 9 years old. And the pressure of the season is on his shoulders, his not quite a decade-old shoulders. And he gets the first guy out. And I'm looking to the parent I'm sitting next to. I said, please, please. And then this other kid comes up from the other team and said, please give it 3 just feeble swings. And he got 2 strikes on him, and he strikes out. We're 2 outs away. Then the next guy comes up, and he clobbers one to left center field. And somehow, I don't know, by the grace of an angel, it didn't roll all the way to the wall, and he got all the way to third base. Okay, now I'm nervous. The next batter up, and he walks. And I thought they got strike 3 on him. But I didn't want to yell because I refused to be that parent riding a Little League umpire. I'll be the guy on a podcast making fun of another Little League coach, but I won't ride this umpire. They basically have a rule. If it's a remotely hittable pitch, they'll call it a strike. Because if they start squeezing the strike zone, then, every batter is going to walk. No one has David Wells's control on the mound when you're talking about, 8, 9, 10-year-olds. But now, finally, in this last inning, he starts calling actual strikes. I'm like, oh, for God's sakes, where were these the rest of the inning? So they get a ground ball, and whenever someone makes a play with a ground ball, there's a ground ball to the pitcher, he picks up and throws it to first. I always feel that should count for 2 outs because he made the right play, and they actually executed it properly, which is a damn miracle. The run came in. It was 7-6. 7-6, 2 outs. I'm looking over at the other manager going, oh my God, I can't let this guy experience joy. Not the other kids, just this guy. This guy who made a big stink over Rule 7.2, Next batter comes up, and I'm like, oh God, it was like 3-1. And I said, I can just see it. Another guy's going to walk, then it's going to be one of those rules. Pass the dandelions in right field, and the winning runs are going to come home. I could just see it in my head. And the kid hits a sharp grounder. The first baseman picks it up and then steps on the bag. And the place, at least our side of the field, goes bananas. They won. My kids' team won. The 6 seed beat the 2 seed. And the guy who was the big stickler for rule this, according to the regulations, can spend the summer reading the rule book because his team's going home and my son's team moves on. Was it the greatest baseball moment I ever experienced? No, I still think the 2004 Red Sox are, but the fact of the matter, this has got to crack my top 5. Absolutely got to crack my top 5. The lesson is this. Don't be a stickler for the bullshit. Just let the kids play and have fun. If you got nothing else from this podcast, get that out of it. Oh, and get one more thing. Your pal Sully can be one petty son of a bitch. I've been doing a brand new original podcast every single day since October 24th, 2012. And I update it daily on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and you can follow me on Twitter @SullyBaseball. You can send me an email at info@sullybaseball.com. I'm your host, Paul Francis Sullivan. Please call me Sully.